Why the hell did Warner Brothers greenlight this? A Batman Arkham Shadow VR game that premiered at the Summer Games Fest. Now, if you didn't know this was a VR game, let's say by the end of the trailer or the premiere, you probably would think, oh my God, they're actually bringing back a brand new single player traditional Arkham game. But once you find out it's a VR game on the MetaQuest, you would just be left entirely disappointed and just be scratching your head. Why? WB greenlit Gotham Knights, a game that, in my honest opinion, it kind of looked like it had that skeleton of Arkham in terms of the combat, but it just felt lifeless. It didn't have that same impact or feel that the previous Arkham games had in terms of combat. And then they greenlit Suicide Squad, a game that looked promising based off the trailers and the story that they were going to tell with this. Playing as the Suicide Squad taking down the Justice League on paper sounds like an easy layup considering Rocksteady's track record and their combat style. But then when you get to the gameplay reveal, and it just looks like this hosh posh of we gotta chase a trend type of gameplay, and it looked mediocre or outright ass. And worst of all, if you've seen how they butchered some of the character designs for some of these villains, what they did to the Joker, Mr. Freeze, and Poison Ivy, which honestly, if them three characters was in a Teen Titans game, they would have at least had that aesthetic look to them to make sense. But because this was in a Suicide Squad game, they looked out of place. Now, I wouldn't have been mad if they went with a Jared Leto's type of look for Joker. I think that would have been a better route to go, but instead they went the latter. And then you fast forward to this VR game that they greenlit. Oh yeah, we're gonna give y'all a traditional Arkham game, but it's gonna be in VR? This sounds like something that Rocksteady should have been making, or maybe at one point was working on, then they were yanked off of it and pulled to a Suicide Squad game. And to me, this VR game just looks nothing more than like a cash grab and a huge middle finger given to the fans who wanted a traditional Arkham game. It don't matter who would have made it, Rocksteady, WB Montreal, anybody. But this Arkham Shadow game, if you didn't know it was a VR game based on the trailer, you would have thought this was a return to form for Rocksteady or for WB as a whole. And then when you go read up on the story for this, it's the 4th of July and Gotham City is besieged by a new threat, the mysterious Rat King and his cultish devotees. Public officials have been abducted, including Batman Associates Commissioner Jim Gordon and District Attorney Harvey Dent. The Rats have pledged to execute them in 1 week's time for crimes committed against people of Gotham City. As widespread rioting engulfs the city, Batman, voiced by Roger Craig Smith, races to prevent the so-called Day of Wrath, but it all goes wrong. Not gonna lie, that premise for the story sounds very familiar to The Dark Knight Rises, and the fact that this game's story is canon to some of the Arkham games set in between Origins and Asylum, it can make people all the more infuriated and prove that this was a big middle finger to the fans. I don't know what WB is thinking, but they need to get their shit together. They really need to, because Gotham Knights wasn't it. Suicide Squad to a lot of people wasn't it. Y'all need to course correct and fucking fire the people who made the gameplay for Gotham Knights first and foremost. Shoot them out of a cannon for all I care. Throw them in a moat. I don't care. Get rid of them. And it's sad because Gotham Knights story was actually somewhat interesting. I wasn't finna freaking soak through that mediocre mundane gameplay just to get through the story. And a lot of people probably thought the same for Suicide Squad, a game that has a promising story but mundane gameplay. I don't know. I think what they need to do to try to course correct this is some type of Batman collection remaster / remake for the PS5, Xbox Series X, like all that. Just something that would be a little bit of a palate cleanser. And please, for the love of God, don't use the buzzword modern audiences And I say that not only to the developers, but to the media who reports on this as well, because you're going to have a subsection of the internet that's going to automatically think, oh, it's going to be something that it probably isn't even going to be. As long as y'all have a marketing terminology of like, we want to make a remake collection or remaster collection to possibly attract new fans to this series and possibly give you an indication at where we can go in the future to basically tell y'all, yeah, we fucked up. Because there's a lot you can still do with the Arkham games even after Arkham Knight. You could have a freaking Red Hood game. Give me a Red Hood game where he kills people, please. But with that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more gaming content like this, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.